What is going on? All right. I think we are good to go now, people. Happy Cash Flow Friday. And we're back. All right. Cool. So let me get my screen. We're going to get straight into it today. Hopefully you can see my screen. So I want to talk about a legacy reset that I'm going to start doing on December 2nd. And for those of you who, so Cash Flow Friday, the goal for it is to always put yourself and your family in a position that you are equipping yourself to not depend on your 9 to 5. And so any and everything we do is always an extension of that. Now, oftentimes they have to do with investing, because being owning a real estate business, and as far as the coaching side, I'm always wanting to help transition. Now, the other thing that goes with Cash Flow Friday is, like, you got to be clear about your money. You got to be clear about, like, your finances. You got to be clear on a lot of things. And so, and it's a reset. Like, if you know my story, like, we transitioned from Arkansas and we built a business up there, had a lot of success, and like we're resetting a lot of things. And this year I've had a lot of success in my real estate and business, and have had some excited growth that we are going to have. And so it's like I wanted to put a 3-day intensive of just you resetting with me. And so the goal, I'm just going to highlight what is this legacy reset and why I think you guys should join it, why I think it's important, because the wealthy people always understand, like, when you get to this time of the year, a lot of us are starting to think about what are the things we're going to do next year, recapping on the things I did and the things that you didn't do, and how do I hold myself to a higher standard. And I remember my mentor used to always tell me he got to a point where he was, viewing his financial statement once a week. And sometimes we even went to the thing of actually doing it ourselves. And the truth of the matter is, I want to get to a place where I can go deep and authentic with a lot of people. And so the reset is like, hey, I'm actually do that. And yeah, it's a cost, it's an investment when it comes to anything. But I'm going to share with you a little bit about some of the things that we've done, what I have done, and go super, super deep. So basically help to protect your family, learn kind of real estate a little with more confidence, and some of the things I have been sharing, and reset before 2025. And so when we go in 26, like, your goal is to say, hey, we are moving with purpose. When I think about rebuilding your financial foundation, here's the truth. Most people, sometimes people need to look at their finances more, and literally by looking at it and healing through the emotional uncomfortness that it takes to be able to look at your finances. That's one thing, right? Maybe you have your stuff in order, but you need to say, okay, like, I need to get more confidence with getting bigger goals. I need to start seeing where I'm at and where I want to go, and how do I get from where I'm at to where I want to go. Because getting organized in estate planning, check this out. So we did our estate planning. Like, they had this big binder and it says estate planning. And you have to ask some questions. Like, most people I hear a lot of people talk about, hey, I want to have generational wealth. I want to transfer my legacy. I want to transfer my legacy into I want to transfer my legacy to my family. And what does that mean? We talk about generational wealth, but we really don't know what it means to set ourselves up so that we can do that, and like how to maintain that. And I remember when me and my wife we went through this process. We had to ask questions about like, hey, what happens if you die and the other one don't? What happens if you both? How do you make decisions that's going to help you make sure you steward what happens to the things that um, may happen if some of these events happen? You got to start thinking through that. And once again, it gets uncomfortable when you start thinking about that. Creating long-term protection with your assets, like that's a thing we got to think of. That like estate planning make you think about it. And I'm gonna share some of the things that we did, how we did it, why we did it, and give you the tools. Now, I'm not by no means a lawyer and a financial planner. By no means. I am someone who's a coach and want to see you go well. So I'm gonna give you a very basic framework, and of course, just depending on like who you are, I'll give you like a version of a binder like we have here. So, anyways, because here's the truth: like being in real estate, I'm just gonna tell you, families lose like a lot of opportunity to learn and protect. Like, I don't know what I was looking at, but the one thing when we always pass away as a family is we are passing away nothing. If anything, we passing liabilities. And like that's an issue. Like people you rent, and that's why I'm so big on like getting out of renting. Like even though I'm an investor, guess what? Someone's gonna rent that. Someone's in because everything is temporary for the season that you're in. Like it's a season when you're growing up, right? And as you're growing up, you realize a few things. You realize, hey, I need to make a better decision when it comes to my family. But before you do that, you're like, hey, I'm not married. I don't want to be married, but I want to get myself together. Okay, then you get married and you're like, man, I didn't have all myself together. Or maybe I got a few things. And then you start working these things together. And this is a beautiful thing about doing this with your family and my spouse. Like we've thought through these things and we had the hard conversations. The ability to have the hard conversations is huge. But most people don't know what steps to take when it comes to buying real estate. And obviously that's what we talk about in our sales side. But just the lack of structure keep people stuck. So if you what we'll learn is that like so I'm gonna break down our full flip, give you some of the essentials that it takes, and like okay, how do we like even what we're gonna do with that like how do we what we put that money like in what account and why, and how do we report that to our state, right? And then raising private money. I think like when people have issues, when people think about hey, well, my income is or my credit is limited, guess what? Understand how to raise private money when you have great relationships with people. And when you realize, I'm going to tell you guys a story in this is that, guess what? Like, people who have money, they are willing to lend you money. That's private lending. And I did both. And so in the beginning of doing that, like, I overcome hurdles that I didn't think was even possible. And so, like, showing you that and showing you the details, like raising money, like so buying your first property. Sometimes buying your first property is your house. Same about buying the first property, buying your first rental property. How do I buy my fifth rental property? How do I buy my 10th rental property? And in the tools and the templates and some of the examples, and then also having support on that as well. Like I said, the flip break, like we sold it in 2.5 weeks, and we have another one right now. And what are the things we're gonna do to get that sold? And even the mistakes, like just the other day we had another thing that came up that we still had to do, and just because of just being honest and upfront with everything, we wanted to make sure we got it done, and having the right people in your corner to like that's the thing when it comes to like building things, learning to have people that you trust, learning to have people that's going to be there and show you the things, and then how can you repeat this, how am I putting this in play right now, and what are the things I'm building, how am I so that's important. So, and I'm big, like I say, transparency. You know, the budgeting. Like, I think the biggest thing, like, if you're a real estate agent or if you're somebody who say, I've always wanted to flip property. The reality is, people like the idea of things, but when you see the work that actually is required, that's why a lot of people will see this on replay or probably won't ever see it. But even when you do see it, you realize one thing. It take a lot of work to be, not plugged in, especially next week is Thanksgiving and family and starting to travel and we're doing all these different things. Um, and we're gonna keep plugging away. I'm gonna keep plugging away because it's gonna be, and we have I have my people who commit and who's always here, and you know, and oh, hold on one second. Sorry, I got a lot of screens up. Here we go. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. So, what is going on here? I got several things up on the screen, and I don't know which one y'all can see. Here we go. All right. Estate building is like I said, I won't go into super deep, but I just want you to understand like why probates delay family. And like I'll even read one thing that's from this detailed sheet that our lawyer put together and that we paid probably about $1,000 and have a retainer as well that we keep this on. So what is a trust? When was it established? And like how when you close on things, you put it in the living trust. So trust avoid probates for all aspects when it's transferred. Like you ever heard people go through probates? You ever heard people like go through these steps and they say, hey, well, I got to transfer my, we have to go through court and, it takes a few weeks. That doesn't have to happen. And the reality that you think it has to happen is the issue in the thinking. And it's not that we don't have a way around it, but you have to be intentional right now. The judge decide how your assets get handled. You don't. So when you pass away and you leave all this up to your family and you have a will, we think a will it still goes through the same probate. It still goes through the same process. Um, um, and so the reality is like estate planning. Estate is super, super important. All right. And understanding living trust, like I say, I'm going to go through this book, and that's literally what I'm reading in right now, and just talking about one, how do you protect your assets, and that's why having your financial statement available, having a lot of these things ready, and how you reduce the risk of a will contest and dismissal of court challenges to your estate, avoid and sustain, reduce death taxes depending on the size of your estate. These things you need to be thinking of, and that's why it's so hard when I think people decide that they want to do something, because it takes true planning and intentionality to do this right. But then it also say, all right, well, cool. How do we go through that process? And how Jabbar, do you have somebody? Yes, I have somebody that you can use. And then, okay, then how do I start structuring deals to find something? You don't have to do private lending, but this is just going to be an extra. And so I think this is definitely for the people who say, hey, I want to do this for sure. And I want to have all the tools that I need. The templates, how do you reach out to people? The presentation, if you want to, deal presentation where you can just be able to analyze a deal and say, hey, this is how we're buying. If we hold it for this many months, this is what the interest is going to be. This is what the holding cost is. This is what profit is. This is a return, right? That's important because when you talk to investors, they just want to know money. And you have to get over that hump of how you feel about it. Interest structure, it's going to be on there. Amortization breakdown. And Now, here's the thing. If you're buying your first house, this is another beautiful thing. Like, when you're buying your first house, like, all this still matters. Like, how do you capitalize as a first time home buyer? Or what are the programs you can be able to use? And this is where it's like everything that I do, like in our sales team, is I'm transferring this all kind of in one. And it gives you an opportunity to learn. It gives you an opportunity to see, hey, what are these incentives? How do they apply to me? How can I be able to capitalize them? And then if it's your rental property, how do I look at the market and see what it's going to be renting for? How do I get a certain loan, like a DSCR loan, that's going to be based on the rents of the area? And how do I run comps? Like, how do I find the information? If I'm not a realtor, how do I find the information? Like, those are important questions that you have to ask, because of the simple fact that if I am going to take a step on building my legacy, I got to take the first step. And guess what? You may go through 2026 and just buy your first property or your second property and get a lot of this set up. And that may be okay. And you'll learn more about mine. So, and tools that you receive, like, so I'll give you all the checklists and just kind of make it super, super simple. Going to continue to work on that. So, and this binder, if you want to just like a hard copy to send to you, that'd be part of my VIP as well. And the lender list. So if you want a hard money, I'll give you the people that I use and some of the connections that I have. Some of my hard money people is just like personal relationships that I have, but I'll be there with you to help you understand that. So, and then so Cash Flow Friday, this is something that we always do, just give you access to the school, you have more support, accountability, and obviously you're gonna get stuck when you're doing something, anytime big, anything different, you have questions and like, how can we break down the deals and just doing more in this setting. And here's the reason why does this work. It's no guesswork. Everything I teach is from and show you is from how I have learned, and I figured it out, and I've made the mistakes. And if it's one leverage that you always need to learn is that build a relationship with people and learn how to with the mistakes that is related to what I'm making. Like, if you made a mistake, guess what? Let me make it for you and then teach you from it. And if that helps you, then that saves you time, energy, and effort going through it. And sometimes you just got to go through it, right? So this is going to start December 2nd. It's going to be a live training. It'll be about 6 p.m., 7 Eastern Standard Time. And then so we'll jump in, and then I'll just go in every single day, giving you the breakdowns of every specific thing. And so part of it, like, it'll go for sale. And so I want to mail out some things for the people who want the actual hardcore stuff or workbooks, and you can have a download as well. It's completely up to you guys. Private money. And so the job is go ahead and lock it in now. So it's $299 for all of this to be able to get into the portal. And who is this for? So it's for your first time home buyer. If you're an investor, if you're a private lender, you're some family who you want to show how to have some protection, anyone who wants to build wealth, this is for you. Because every single thing we're doing, a 3-day training is going to show you, hey, this is the necessary step that you need to take to be serious about that. So encourage you guys to reach out and go to our school, Cash Flow Friday. Cash Flow Friday will have the link where you can be able to get access to this. And that's it. Cash Flow Friday, man. So I'm excited to continue to not only learn and grow, but to continue to teach and show where we're at in the journey and see how we can help you and yours. And the reality is sometimes you just need people to listen. I had a client today that she was just like, I just need someone to hear me out and listen. And so it's my job to continue to be here and help you grow. So appreciate you guys. I ask that you join. And of course, if you see the replay of this, I ask that you go down, maybe in your email or even in the description below, you'll have ways to be able to sign up. And I will see you next time.